Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host, Caliban. I don't look like a superheroine, but I am.
And we're a couple of magical people ready to moon prison power make up this episode. Sailor Noob is a part of the Just Enough Trope Network. Today we are talking about episode number 15, Usagi Eseru, Rei-chan Hatsu Deito in Japanese, or Usagi's Panic, Rei's First Date, the English translation, and the English title, An Unnatural Phenomena.
Wow.
Yeah.
Esoteric.
Right?
What's Hatsu?
What's Hatsu?
Hatsu.
I don't know.
It just sounds like, no offense, but it sounds like a non-native speaker of English is trying to say Rei has a date in English.
Well, yeah.
So many of those words just seem...
Well, dato is date. I can tell you that much. So
because Japanese people don't go on dates.
No.
So it's a loan word.
It is a loan word, though. Yes.
They don't have a word for assignation or...
Oh, don't ask me this on the spot.
Awkwardly not talk to each other at a bus stop in the rain.
I feel like they should have many different ways to awkwardly not talk to each other, like have a single word.
We'll talk about relationships and couples in Japan. Before we get started, I have a confession to make.
Yes.
I should not have done this.
What?
I should not have done this. But
what should you have not have done?
I go on YouTube, and I want to look at Sailor Moon content, but I'm restricted because if you just look at 20 of Usagi's greatest fails, and believe me, there are videos like that.
Oh,
it's
I believe
stuff
you.
From Sailor Moon SS. That was the real dark one. We don't want to do that one. Or like Q or whatever. And so I don't want to go that far. I don't want to ruin the story for me. But I thought side action. Look at the live action thing. How could that hurt anything?
Uh-oh. What'd you do?
I watched the video.
Yeah.
Of the Sailor's live action Sailor transformations.
Yes.
Okay, I should not have done it. Both because I didn't want to spoil anything, but also because it's like garbage.
Really?
Well, I mean, that's not fair. That isn't fair. It's it cost about $13.50, I think, to put the whole thing together, and it's all on. I mean, a lot of Japanese shows are video and not film, but it's all on video,
right?
So it makes the effect. It looks like a Tim and Eric sketch.
Okay.
It looks like if Tim and Eric were doing a show about, or a sketch about, like a show of Japanese girls in a show like this.
Magical transformations.
Yeah, and they do like their transformation is just like the girls don't even. We wouldn't want to have them do anything at all, so they don't dance or spin around or anything. They're just like moon power, whatever, and then they kind of go. And they wipe their hand like over their hair.
Yeah.
So they're like, ooh, hair now.
Uh-huh.
It's just like comped in.
Yeah.
And they like wipe over their boots. Ooh, boots on.
Sure.
And then there's the double hand wipe. There's a left, right, nails painted.
Oh.
It's just these awful layering effects.
I mean, that sounds about right, honestly, because I'm pretty sure it was done by Bandai, the same people who did the Power Rangers, and it's about the same production quality.
Yeah, but and then all the girls, and I'm not like doing a thing here, but like all the girls look the same because they just went out.
Transformations are the same.
I mean, no, I'm not. This is why I said I'm not trying to do a thing.
Oh,
I'm just saying they went out and got like 5 thin, good-looking Japanese girls with long hair. They all look the same.
Okay,
so you can kind of, except Jupiter's still got it going on. Jupiter's is probably the best, and then Venus has her own thing. This is why they're all like in the same spots too, because I think they were like, no, we paid for those effects. We're just going to reuse them.
Yeah.
Make it red instead of green.
Right.
So the girls have to stand in like the same area. This whole time I've been talking, I've been doing this.
The hand motion.
The nails.
Yes.
Thing. I think I might love this. But then Venus has got her own like, look out, and then Venus is coming in. She's like, whoa, and she's like spinning around. And it's got like a cowboy hat. It's like totally different than the other ones.
Wow.
I don't know why. So anyway, I think I can see myself getting into it.
Okay.
We'll see. No promises. Maybe I'll report back with more later.
All right. Sounds good. In the meantime, would you like to give us a brief summary or synopsis?
I don't know
of
how brief it's going to be. I'll do my best.
Okay.
We start jazzy in the park. Some nice jazzy music is playing, and the girls are checking out a nice city park. And they think it might be a good place for a date.
Yeah.
They see a guy, Mr. Kunitachi. He's the groundskeeper, and they're talking about the park, and he tells them that the March of Progress has finally claimed the park. The owner has sold the land. It's being developed into, I don't know, business or condos or something like that. And he's really bummed about this, and he's worried about the birds and the animals that live there.
Understandable.
He's a real Mr. Rogers type for birds and animals.
Yes.
And Rei just wants to bring a boyfriend here. She thinks that this would be the perfect place for a date.
Right.
And so she's got to get a boyfriend. Don't save the park. Don't have a breakdancing competition. Get a boyfriend, record time, come back here, date, mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in Jubansho, outside of Game Center Crown, Luna is there, and she's wondering where everybody else is, and she's almost hit by a truck. Out of nowhere, Mr. Smug Guy himself swoops in and saves Luna just in time for the girls to show up and Usagi to yell at him for messing with her cat.
Yep.
Out of the arcade comes Motoki, arcade guy, and he knows Smug Guy, it turns out, and we can get rid of blank guys because they both have names, we find out. Smug Guy's name is Mamoru, and they go to the same university. So that's interesting. See if that comes up. Across town at Nephrite's Creep House, he's doing the planetarium thing. The stars give you your powers. He identifies this time the beta star of Cygnus, which is called Albiro. All these are real stars. And turns out his next target is the groundskeeper. Surprise. Back at the arcade, Rei is grilling Motoki for the deets on the Smug Guy, and his name is Mamoru Chiba. He's got a nice apartment, and he's rich. So this is the guy she's going to date. That's what we're going to do there. Back at the park, Mr. Kunitachi is approached by Nephrite, and he's given the power. He puts his sigil on the guy's hat. This is like Super Mario Odyssey. And he tells him to unleash the wrath of nature. And then Kunitachi kind of stumbles to where the build site, dig site is, where they're bulldozing. And butterflies attack everybody, which is a thing now. So the wrath of nature, everybody. It comes on soft, easily damageable wings. The next day, Rei is walking to ambush Mamoru. She's like waiting in, I don't know, the shops district. And they meet, and he asks her to tea. It's very romantic. It's very not real, because it's a fantasy that she's having a daydream. Usagi's not the only person that can daydream. Speaking of Usagi, she's walking by, and she sees Rei squatting behind a pillar. So she's like, what's going on here? And Mamoru comes by. Rei gets the timing wrong and falls right on her face, and Mamoru steps on her head, which you feel like he would be apologetic for her, but he's like, oh, you're fine? Okay, and he keeps going. That's our guy. But she rallies after that, and she asks him out for tea, Sadie Hawkins style. He's down. Nice save. Usagi sees all this, and she decides to creep on them, because this is just what we're up to now as far as Usagi goes. She's just a weird... She and Umino have a lot in common now.
Oh, no.
I think. So he'll tell her where she can get a telephoto lens.
Oh, my God.
And we'll be ready to go. And those zip tie things, those things?
Oh, stop it. Yeah.
So I'm going to put her at a Dumb Bunny 6.
Okay.
6 out of 10 for this, for reasons that will be clear in the next couple paragraphs. At T, Ray's trying to make time with Mamoru, and it seems like she's doing okay. Usagi is hiding directly outside the window. And she thinks, well, I spent all my money on ice cream. I can't go in and get some tea and spy on them. Just look at the menu or something. Eat the breadsticks. But she thinks, I can transform into a waitress. And Luna's like, no, you can only use that for justice.
Yeah.
Stop wasting transformations. Well, luckily, Umino shows up. And Usagi decides to use him. She's basically like, let's go on a date. You can buy me some tea. So she can get in there and spy better. Which doesn't ever really, we know what happens. It sets something up for later, but there is no button on that scene in the cafe. I think they could have done a better job with that. Luna is probably pretty frustrated at this point. She runs into Ami, and they head to the park. Back at the park, it seems like things are okay. The owner of the park tells Mr. Groundskeeper that the construction company has run off, afraid of butterflies, so they're not going to develop it. And Ami tells Luna that Mr. Kunitachi is acting weird. She saw him before, and he says that humans don't deserve the park. They don't appreciate the power of nature. And apparently not, because immediately chipmunks attack the park manager, and he runs off. So, meanwhile, Rei and Mamoru are having a nice boat ride in the lake in the park, and Usagi is continuing to spy on her, and Umino is there, and it's that... See, they could have done a whole... Maybe this is too much for, 12-year-old girls who are watching the show, but they could have done a whole, Cyrano thing or something like that, or they could have done... This is your classic, she's watching them. Or that movie with Lori Loughlin, and C. Thomas Howell. Remember that one?
I don't think I know that one.
And Tom Cruise's ex-wife, Kelly Preston.
Okay.
Look it up. It's real. Anyway, but no, I mean, he's just standing there. But he's also I think he's kind of preoccupied with himself because he's like, we shouldn't be doing this. We should be good junior high students, but maybe we should kiss.
Right.
But Usagi's already taken off. She runs into Ami, who tells her that there's dark kingdom trouble afoot. And just then, because now we got to keep it going.
Right.
Mr. Kunitachi arrives, and his hat does the Yoma thing, and a monster comes out, and this monster is like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like anime poison ivy, if designed by Akira Toriyama.
I think that's
or
fairly accurate.
Like a little Legend of Zelda thrown in. Like this would be like one of the fairies that tries to molest Link or something like that. Yeah. And he basically goes, animals, kill all humans. So all of our or at least Ami and Moon transform in the boat. Mamoru seems to react to something. He seems to be... Ooh, he freezes up for some reason. And right then they're attacked by birds.
Yes. So
back at this battle with the Yoma, Ami casts Shave-On spray. You know how this goes. But the Yoma casts hand flower, which is she shoots this pod out, and it hits Usagi in the face and then wraps her up in vines. And then she does Petassos rope. She shoots vines out of her hands that wrap up Ami or Sailor Mercury. So they're in trouble.
Yeah.
But Mercury basically just has the power of compassion. The Hulk gets stronger the angrier he gets.
Yeah.
The more dismayed that's... Maybe this is righteous anger. But the more dismayed Ami gets, the stronger she gets, because she sees that Mr. Kunitachi's laid out, and he looks like he's in trouble. And she just hulks out of the vines. And then meanwhile, Rei, little fire soul... Usagi singed, none the worse for wear. And then Mercury and Mars do a double pose, and Moon's like, hey, I'm part of the brand here, too. What's going on? So Petassos is ready to finish him, but right then she gets hit in the face with a rose.
Yes.
Tuxedo Mask is in a tree for some reason. And then it's
nature.
Bam, a little MTA action, pretty straightforward. Yoma's gone. Kunitachi's okay. Mamoru shows up oh, what happened? It's we've seen this Clark Kent act before. And Rei's maybe he's Tuxedo Mask. But Usagi is having none of it. And, I get it. I understand. And then Umino appears for the button. Here's the button. And he's like, let's continue our date, Usagi. Whoa, oh, no.
I know.
Wah, wah.
Pretty much.
The end.
It's kind of a weak little button.
Well, I mean, it's never going to be followed up on.
No, I know. And, she's, super annoyed and, embarrassed by it too, and it's well, you're the one who suggested it.
You have a lot of ground to cover in a show that is a Sentai show but is also many things at different times. Sometimes it's a romantic thing, sometimes it's sports, maybe it's not all that many things, but but the thing is that you would have you would set it up right away, and plus it's 22 minutes long, but that doesn't count. Hi, I'm Susan. I look like a girl, but I'm not, or whatever. Maybe she's a girl, but and then every time they do their things, that eats up 90 seconds there, and so you would have she'd get mad that Rei's on a date, have Umino be I'm on a date with Umino the first time, and then they're like, oh, you guys make a good couple. It's whoa, no. And then something happens, and then they meet again. It's seems like your date's going well. It's we're not on a date. And then the third thing come back. Boom. That's how you write comedy.
I see what you're saying there. It's not mined for comedy as much as it could be.
I mean, it's the perfect 12-year-old girl anime level of comedy.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I see what you're saying.
With killer butterflies.
That's important.
Welcome to Virtual Theater, I'm Andy Spiteri.
And I'm Gooey Fame.
The day bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
If you're a gamer, a movie buff, or both, you're going to want to check out our podcast on video game movies and the stories that shape them.
Luigi, it's a mushroom. Come on. Trust the fungus.
We let you decide which movies we cover via Twitter poll. So be sure to follow us on Twitter at Virtual Theater X.
Right, you can hear him talking.
Yeah. Pika, pika, pika.
They can't understand me, kid.
And give us 2 thumbs up by subscribing on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts.
The fate of billions will depend upon you. Sorry.
We are a part of the Just Enough Trope Network.
For Kyoto Miru curiously looking around were elements of Japanese culture within the episode. I thought we would talk about the appreciation of nature or parks in Japan. So despite it being overcrowded with cities and being very modern, Japan is home to many national parks. There are more than 30 national parks in Japan. And the parks encompass many different habitats such as marshes, volcanoes, beaches, forests, underwater marine life, and coastline environments.
We can't let these bulldozers destroy this volcano. Lava.
I know. I know. Oh, it's kind of weird. I don't know why they chose butterflies, and also don't understand
People don't
why.
appreciate the spirit of pumice anymore.
I know.
I don't. Yeah, because here's why. Because they could have had. I don't know. Maybe there's a bear in the park or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wolves.
What do you choose?
They got wolves in Japan, right?
Sure.
They got
in
dogs,
some
they got,
areas.
They got dogs. They got wolves.
But I also, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say. So it's supposed to be this juxtaposition of like, well, the killer chipmunks. Right?
I know.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. So I looked this up because I know that, like, they don't necessarily have a lot of chipmunks. Apparently, there is only one breed of chipmunk in Japan. It's a Siberian chipmunk, and they live in Hokkaido, which is the northernmost island. So they wouldn't even be there. They have squirrels. I don't know why they chose to animate chipmunks, but they did. So
Siberian chipmunks.
I know.
Are these the do they look like like your typical rescue ranger type chipmunk? With the stripes and everything?
I did not get that far in my research,
Well,
and
anyway.
I really should have.
Just-
I'm so sorry.
No, we share all nuts, comrade. What are these Siberian chipmunks?
I know.
Okay, but I mean, there are.
Well, there's like squirrels and stuff.
You got
so.
dogs, you got wolves, you got trees, you got
Yes.
nut trees,
Sure.
you have tree rodents.
Yeah.
And I know they're not technically rodents, but
But fudgibly, yes.
excuse me, rodents have incisors that grow
Okay.
continually.
All right.
Do they have a bone in their dong, or is that just that's raccoons?
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It's all right.
So the raccoon with a bone in his dong comes out. He attacks. And no good.
I was just gonna say, Tokyo alone there's more than 6,000 gardens and parks.
I can't be sure, but
Yeah.
I tried to look it up, and I think this park might be Hamariku Gardens.
Oh, in real life.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's on the bay.
Okay.
So part of it is open to the water, but there are also pondy type things in there. And it's
Sure.
very near Shiba Dajingu, which was the shrine that Naoko Takeuchi worked at when she was in college.
Right.
So, and there's a bunch of schools around there. So if we're going off of this thing of these are all locations.
Like actual
you know,
locations.
from where she grew up or went to school. Yeah, I could easily, and I looked at some pictures, on Google Maps or whatever, and it looked very plausible that it could be this place where they're on a boat and they're
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, Japanese culture has a unique relationship to nature. Most Japanese people will tell you that they have 4 distinct seasons. They actually have a word, shiki, which means 4 seasons. But the word for season is kisetsu. So they have one word that means collectively 4 seasons, and then they have a different word that it means individual seasons.
Huh.
And they have a lot of seasonal food and festivals. Nature is featured prevalently in Japanese art, literature, and poetry. And this overall appreciation of nature also predominantly has its spiritual roots within Shintoism. And in Shintoism, everything that is natural, including natural formations like rocks and mountains, for example, are thought to have kami or gods living inside them. And it's largely because of this that Japanese people believe that nature demands one's respects. It's thought that showing respect to nature encourages wholesome crops and can foster superior well-being and fertility within the encompassing community. Shinto, or Kami no Machi, means the way of the gods.
Toe.
Yeah, Shinto.
Yeah.
And there's also like seasonal like fruits which will get like featured in like desserts
the farmers
and
market?
stuff like that.
Oh, okay. But I mean, what part of it is reverence and what part of it is the peach cobblers are in season? Do you know what I mean?
It's a lot of it is because it's in season, but like,
and it's so hard, just culturally, it's so hard to make the distinctions between. I think that we in the West tend to. Not other it has a very negative connotation, but that's basically what it is. But like to make it, it's so exotic, when it's like, there's Shintoism, there's monism, there's animism, there's all these ideas about like, spirits in the world, not like, hey, Mr. Ghost, how you doing? Like,
right.
But just like an energy, and it becomes very difficult to communicate, especially when there's a language barrier, but also just in that Sapir-Whorf kind of way, a difference in thought and the difference in expression and like say how you hold values. And it's almost like we're all different, man.
Right. But yet we're all the same. Right?
Yeah. So anyway, I just think that like they're not having persimmon pie in spring to make the spring fairies happy. They're just like,
well, I mean,
they're ready to go. They're ready to eat.
That's true. But I do think
extra cornflakes on mine.
Well, right. Like we have like, like apples are in season in the fall.
Right. All those people down there in their performance fleeces aren't like bowing to the apple seller at the farmer's market. It's just like, some good Indian corn.
Right. But like here, apples are available all year round. And I mean, that might be true in Japan too, but I do feel like when certain fruits are in season, you see them everywhere. And you see them in like the candy and the pop, as well as like, desserts or parfaits, that sort of thing. So...
It might just be good salesmanship too.
I think you might be onto something there.
Like,
yeah,
their McRib is all year round,
right?
But it's like 4 different kinds of McRib,
right?
It's the spring McRib. It's like the summer McRib is back. It's like, wow, right on June 21st, amazing, like clockwork.
I think that's a very valid point, and
I don't agree, but okay.
Well, okay. We're talking about food. Itadakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? So in Rei's fantasy and then in real life, they went for tea or coffee, and then Usagi asks Umino to join her.
She had some ice cream too.
She did have some ice cream. She had soft serve ice cream in a cone.
I thought it was scoops.
Was it scoop? No, wait. I think you're right. I think it was scoops.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you, it was like red and green. And I don't know if that was just like, oh, it's cartoon ice cream, or if like one of them would have been pistachio or mint or something like that, or the red was melon or something.
Huh.
Just give us 25 seconds of your ice cream experiences in Japan.
Well, I mean, I had a lot of the swirl soft serve, so it was like matcha and vanilla. Right.
But is there like a Baskin Robbins in Japan?
There are stores like that, for sure.
31
there might be a Baskin Robbins in Japan. I think it
not
probably...
flavors.
Right.
Try to say flavors.
Flavors?
If you
I know what you're doing.
Okay.
It was probably either like a mint chip or maybe even a matcha flavored. And then you said red?
I don't know if that's true or not, but we're just... telling people information.
I don't know. There might be. I would not be surprised. I have never had this, so I don't know. But I would not be surprised if they had an Azuki bean ice cream.
Oh yeah, that's the red bean.
That's the sweet red bean.
Yeah. Okay. So it wasn't Sour Patch Kids then.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I did think it was interesting though. Umino and Usagi were drinking out of the same drink, and she like was weirded out by it.
That's
like,
one of the
after
gags,
the fact.
right? But you have to hit that gag harder, though. That's the whole like, ooh,
right?
Like, what? But she's like, she's got to be looking at Rei and Mamoru, but like drinking out of one side of her face,
right?
And then Umino's like, ooh, and then she looks and she's like,
and freaks out,
feet up in the air.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but their drink is like purple. So
I didn't know what the drink was.
I don't know if it's like grape flavored or also it was
like soda in a parfait glass.
Yeah.
Which was weird.
So I wasn't sure. I looked something up. So McDonald's in Japan has a seasonal purple shake that's served in the fall. And it's supposed to taste like murasaki imo, which is purple potato. And it's a variety of Japanese sweet potatoes, and it has a strong purple color.
Is that desirable?
I don't know.
Like
but
Jones Soda makes these like, cranberry turkey dinner sodas, and it's like, all right, but
who drinks those?
What does a potato shake taste like?
Well, sweet potato.
I'm so sorry.
Maybe it tastes like sweet potato pie. I don't know.
In a shake?
It sounds weird, doesn't it? But
I don't like it.
I don't really like it either, but I think that there are other restaurants that serve murasaki emo shakes as well. But moving on to My Heart is a Kaleidoscope, where we talk about fashion and Sailor Moon, what the heck they're wearing. There's a lot of fashion to talk about in this episode.
Of street clothes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about all their outfits in the beginning because they're amazing. Rei's outfit, she's got this yellow crop top and blue shorts with this crisscross ties in the front that looks like it's a threaded corset. And then Usagi's wearing this sleeveless pink number with a bluish green skirt. And then Ami's wearing this cute, like, sweetheart-shaped blue dress with a belt. Which I'm like, a junior high kid is wearing this? But, I mean, she looks really cute in it.
Right.
So, yeah.
This isn't a Studio Ghibli anime. You go put a t-shirt on.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And then I also want to talk about Mamoru's jogging or exercise outfit.
It's like gray, cream, and teal. And it looks like he's a Naruto reject or something like that.
Yes!
They're like, we have all we need for the audition, thanks. And he's on his way home.
Yeah, and like the sleeves, like it's like a sleeveless number, but it's like the sleeves are rolled up, and then like it was a turtleneck, and it's like rolled down.
There are parts of the rolls, the gray, which is probably supposed to be like sweatshirt material. If you showed the Nanaku Takeuchi Rocky on top of the stairs in Philadelphia, and she went, I can do that. Translation from Japanese.
Yeah.
And then this is what you get.
Yes.
It's like, Rocky's cool, but can you bishonen that up for us?
I know. And the sweatbands, too.
I want to see that.
I know.
Big lips. Ding! He's got like a rose in his boxing glove. And
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Crazy.
I also want to talk about Kokuritsu-san's outfit. He's very khaki. I mean, he's like head to toe khaki. Well, I guess he's wearing shorts, but button up shirt and then a brown bucket hat.
Mm-hmm.
It looks very gardenery.
Yeah.
So
Gotta get down there in the dirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Do your thing.
So I think they were really swinging for the fences with outfits in this episode. But then let's not forget our villain gauge, where we rate a baddie, 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. You talked about the stars a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting that Nephrite's always calling on a specific stars and constellations.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you mentioned this or not, but the constellation of Cygnus is a swan, and the Beta Cygni is positioned in the crown of the swan, and it's sometimes called the beak star.
Yeah. I don't know if that has any significance or not.
Yeah, I don't know that it does either.
We'd have to get Gary Spivey in here, or maybe not. But somebody to tell us what that means. But I don't think that, in all my looking at this stuff, it doesn't seem like it has any real reason that I can see. Not over here.
No, I can't make any rhyme or reason out of it either. So which you think, I don't know. I feel like all the other things that they do, there often is a reason for it. So I don't know. For whatever reason, it seems kind of random. So the Yoma's name is Petasos, and it's Greek.
No.
No?
I know where you're going.
Oh, okay.
It's a hat. And
yes.
That can't have anything to do with it, right?
Well, he like puts his energy on the hat.
Maybe, but isn't it just like, how would you say petals if you were a native Japanese speaker?
I guess maybe it kind of sounds like petals.
Right?
But...
Haven't we seen this with like Tensi or the other Yoma names have followed this?
Yeah, a little bit.
I thought that was interesting too when I heard that it was Petasos, because it's like a floppy
hat,
Greek hat. Yeah, but I don't think so.
Really? Because I mean, he puts
because the guy's hat is like it's like a bucket hat. It's like an old man. It's like a fishing hat.
I know. All right.
There's no way.
Okay.
Trust me.
All right. Well, I think you were talking about how she looks, and I think she looks pretty amazing. I mean, like you said, kind of like a anime version of like Poison Ivy, and I think that's pretty accurate. Her eyebrows are insane.
She had pink hair?
No, she had green hair.
Green hair. But
she had like purplish skin.
Oh, okay.
And then when she pushed the flowers out of her hands, those were pink.
Yeah.
I'm
not impressed.
You're not?
No. Too much.
Oh.
Too busy.
Oh.
Too close to the concept.
Oh,
you go,
okay.
It's a flower lady, and they go, I got you, boss. And you come back with a monster with legs that are like stems that have literal like rose stem legs with thorns on them.
I know.
Feet that are roots.
Yep.
And hands that are flowers. And it's like,
I know.
You cleaved too closely to the assignment. You were to take this, designers, and do your own thing with it. And you just did literally what I said. It's like, cocktail dress? I got it. You come back and it's like, the dress looks like a martini glass or something like that. It's like, that's too literal here.
All right.
You need to do something a little more stylized.
Okay.
So
all right.
I can only go 2 on this one.
Wow.
Yeah. Sorry.
I liked her.
I didn't think she had it, the fashion where it counted. Her attacks, she's got vines and that's it. And like what I assume to be the sailor with the least fighting spirit, let's say, can snap out of your vines all by herself. You just don't have it.
Oh, wow. Okay, I guess I can see your point there, but I was really impressed with her. I wanted to give her a 4.
Okay.
But I feel like
no, you can't change your vote just because I was to give her a low vote.
I kind of want to give her a 3, I'm thinking. So, but...
So 4 it is.
Okay, fine. And I guess want to mention really quickly that this is the first time that we learn Mamoru Chiba's name. So thank God we actually have a name for him now.
You keep calling him Smug Guy.
Yeah, the Smug Guy. We can continue to call him Smug Guy. This episode started the Mamoru dating Rei subplot that only occurred in the anime. It didn't occur in the manga at all.
Oh, okay.
So, it was
like to just pad things out or create...
Yeah, create
tension?
more tension and conflict and that sort of thing. So I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing. So now we come to our rating, where we rate the episode 1 to 5 roses, 5 being the most impressive. I really enjoyed this episode, and I thought it had a lot of nice little additions. We get to learn a little bit more about Mamoru, so I gave it 4 roses.
Well, as the monster goes, so goes the episode.
Yeah.
This is only a 2 for me.
All right.
I don't know. I was realizing the show, not only are we doing it, the show's doing it. I don't think it's a coincidence. We're kind of doing it because the show's doing it. Here's what it is. It's going all around. So if you make a cartoon show, you have to find different problems for your characters to face, or different settings or backgrounds for them to interact with or whatever. But also, if your cartoon show is an adaptation of your manga, which itself is a semi-autobiographical account of your life in Tokyo, you're going to go to different places.
True.
And so we've got that 1, 2, 3 ways in this episode where they go to the park. But they're never going to go back to the park. It's never going to matter.
Yeah.
They won't. In Sailor Moon asks they're not going to be shopping at the shopping mall that used to be the park and mentioned that, I'm fairly certain.
Yeah.
It all just, sometimes it's really, it's a one-off that's really interesting, and sometimes it's a one-off that's like, well, there'll be another one next week. Like, and that's kind of how I feel about this one.
All right.
It's fine. It's not great. Too many missed opportunities with the Perfect Strangers-esque, stuff with the Rei and Mamoru and Umino and Usagi. Didn't do anything with that, and take it over.
I mean, I think you're right. I think they could have taken it to a couple of more interesting places.
Although Siberian chipmunks, very deadly.
Yeah, right. It sounds like they're deadly. So my English title for the episode is Dating Dancing.
What?
Dating Dancing. Because they're dancing around dating.
Okay. Well, luckily I don't have to do an English title. I do the Viz titles.
Yes.
Now. And mine is Getting Squirrely.
Okay, I like yours better. Yeah.
Come on.
That's pretty good.
That got shot down. They thought, I don't want to explain to my kid what being squirrely is, so.
Squirrely's not bad, though.
Yeah, but.
But don't want to explain it.
How do you explain it?
Oh, yeah. Well, you can't really explain it without explaining
without going to Siberia, I know.
Yeah. So next episode, we are talking about episode number 16. Junpaku Doresu no Yume, Usagi Hana Yome ni Naru in Japanese, A Girl's Dream, Usagi Becomes a Bride, the English translation, and the English title, Wedding Day Blues.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I swear, I listen when you talk. I swear.
Yeah.
But I was kind of doing that. What are we talking about next? What's the next episode?
Yeah.
And as you got to the English title is, and I was just like, Wedding Day Blues. And
No
you're like,
way!
Because we've already had like 3 blueses. Right,
It's a pattern with these guys.
A pattern. It's a disease. It's a pathology. Well, I got to top that, so I'll work on something.
Okay, sounds good. Well, that's our show for this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Improper relationships are the #1 enemy of junior high girls.